Welcome to the Progress Report, a program where we highlight the current investment climate in Guyana. Canada and Guyana share a history of collaboration predating their involvement in the oil and gas sector. Canada previously stood as one of Guyana's major export partners in the extractive industry. Strengthening this alliance, both countries signed an agreement last April to bolster trade relations and increase cooperation. Through the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association (CPA), a 4-member parliamentary delegation from Canada arrived in Guyana on November 14 for a 5-day visit aimed at fortifying and deepening the diplomatic relations between the two nations.
It's actually been an incredible learning experience. I mean, it was part of our questions. How was Guyana going to integrate this oil and gas wealth that has become an excellent source of revenue for Guyana with Guyana's objectives of reaching all the environmental goals that have been set out? And what we've learned so far is that Guyana is very, very prudently trying to mix the two. And the fact that Guyana is 83% forest helps definitely to maintain a certain carbon neutrality. And I do understand, well, I think we all do understand the need for Guyana to use this source of income to try to uplift its citizens and really bring them out of a certain despair, really, economically. So we're very pleased to see that Guyana is doing this. I mean, citizens will expect it from their government and from all the players that are here now to develop the economy, that it won't benefit just foreigners, that it will benefit the people of Guyana. So absolutely, I think the economic development of this country relies now on that, but also on the traditional both agricultural and mining industries that had been the mainstay of Guyana's economy before. So of course they expect that those benefits to be to the Guyanese population, not just for some few. And I think it's very important that the government keeps that in mind when negotiating all these contracts and attributing all these benefits.
I mean, it's very important to the country. What I like to call the trickle-down effect that happens with the industry as it expands, whether it's oil and gas, whether it's mining, etc. The steps that are taken and the taxes that are brought in from that are able to be dispersed down throughout the economy, and the people that come in to work now are staying in they're renting places or trying to find places to rent or to buy. They're now buying that. They're purchasing food and simple things like haircuts and clothing, etc., which all trickles down to the economy, and that then spreads it out so that it enhances the country and expands the country's economy so greatly.
Very, very astounding objective, well, very commendable objective of reaching the 25 by 25. But it's not only actually a Guyanese objective, it seems to be a Caribbean objective. We met with CARICOM yesterday, so this seems to be really the objective of the whole region. And I think Guyana is contributing very much, perhaps the lion's share of that objective. Because it's a continental country, so there's an agricultural landscape that is bigger and more perhaps adaptable than the others. There are the challenges of transportation within the region, of transporting goods, and we heard a lot about that, so we'll bring that back to Canada and see if there's anything we could do to help. But that objective is definitely, I think, very, very commendable to reduce the dependency of the region on imports and try to generate as much production locally as possible for all sorts of reasons, environmental, but also in terms of food security, ensuring that you're not always dependent on whatever comes from abroad, and how much that can destabilize an economy. I think it's proven that it has attracted quite a lot of investment. I think Guyana is quite good right now at attracting investment. Obviously, some infrastructure needs to be brought up to just hotels. It's not easy to find a hotel in Georgetown right now. So for example, that would be necessary to upgrade the capacity for Guyanese to attract more investors, because people will want to come and visit, will want to come and prospect, and it would be nice if they could find a hotel room. So that would be definitely a plus, but what is offered by Guyana right now is actually very attractive.
Guyana has a lot of, like the forest, there's a lot of nature, and I think Guyana needs to advertise that more, and you will have an influx of tourists. Like I'm finding there's so much more to Guyana than just Georgetown. So you've got some natural beauty, promote it, and yeah, it will help with the economy.
You know, when I first came to Guyana in 2016, I fell in love with this country, and I can't tell you precisely why. I just did, and it has stayed with me. I have said then I would come back, and I'm saying it now again. I will come back. I really do love Guyana. I can't put one reason why. Just I don't know. You are a country that doesn't. The people of this country don't seem to presume too much of anything about anybody, and just take us as we come, and I think that is extremely welcome.
Guyana is a young country, a young democracy, and I think we have a lot to learn from each other. I'm learning about your democracy, about the challenge you have, and you probably learn about the challenge we have, and talking together, getting together, having these kind of meeting, exchange is very, very important for us, and I hope, and I think it's the case that it's important also for your Parliament and all of the population of Guyana. So
My first trip to Guyana, I have been exposed to Guyanese people. I'm the senator from Toronto. We have a huge diaspora who have contributed much to Canada and continue to contribute. We're all aware of the festivals and the food, many restaurants. But to be here on the ground, I mean, I must say that we've had delicious food. But the one thing that has struck me is the amount of women in powerful portfolios. And that for me has, as a woman, I feel really good about that you've got women, but you've got them in decision-making roles. So congratulations, Guyana, you're getting it right. The rainforest, 86%, you're getting it right. So there's the government, the people are very conscious, you know, and it's a delight to be here.
That it's worth coming, that it may not be very easy to find a flight. That's another issue that we'll bring back to Canada. Caribbean Airlines has direct flights from Toronto, which is wonderful, thank God. But yes, we need to develop that, but it's definitely worth the trip. There is a lot to discover, a lot to consider if you want to invest in sustainability, because I think Guyana is very, very keen on sustainability, you know, its economic development. So if investors want to approach their investment opportunities through a sustainability lens, I think Guyana is an excellent country to invest in. And in terms of tourism, as my colleague said, I mean, there's so much to discover in this country that we don't even have the chance to do a little percentage of it. So absolutely, there's a lot to discover in Guyana.
It was indicating that they're prepared and they're being proactive to recognize those aspects. So when they do that, they're respective of the rainforest and protecting the land and protecting the indigenous population as they increase that, which is a tremendous asset. That at least it's on their radar and they're prepared for that.
Great joy to hear about the healthcare system. As someone who sort of is very committed to maternal newborn childhood, the waiting room idea, where pregnant mothers come to the hospital where they will give birth, and then they have a waiting room, because in some of the remote areas, you know, if a woman comes when she goes into labor, she'll give birth somewhere along the way. So this is a novel idea. I haven't heard of it anywhere else in the world. So for me, this is the one thing I'm taking back, and I'm going to be talking about in the university lecture I'm giving.
I agree that it's very important for you to explore all the petroleum, oil and gas you have here, but never forget that, hopefully you will never forget that, it's not only about Guyana, it's about the whole planet, and the more we use oil and gas, the more we earth harm. Sorry, my English is not as good as I'd like it to be, but anyway, the more problem it creates with the planet. So on a short as possible delay, for myself and my party in Quebec, we believe that we should turn ourselves to green energy, and you also have the possibility of doing that since, as Robert said, all that rainforest, which is a precious treasure that you have, and I think we should all keep that in mind.
I think it's actually the only way forward for the space and the element of development that the human race has reached right now. If we don't take into account the sustainability of our planet, I mean, we won't be here for much longer. So I do think that what Guyana is doing in that sense is extremely important, in my view.
My background, as I say, is the agriculture industry, and my arms and legs are the oil and gas industry. And the reality is that Guyana in many ways is doing exactly what I believe my province and my part are doing in recognizing the need as we transition. And that transition is going to take 50 to 75 years for that to happen. We don't have the energy sources of batteries that can sustain that power. You need that base power in order to grow. But you have other aspects. You have the 86% of the rainforests that cover the country, and the respect for that is tremendous, because through that you're capturing that carbon that's out in the air. You have an agriculture industry that as well is being very, because your agriculture farmers are very proactive. That they have to be. They've learned on their own, and they continue to learn on that proactivity as they grow crops that are capturing carbon as well. And we need to be giving them credit for that aspect of things as we transition. It's that balancing act to as we move along. And with the country, with the oil and gas, and you know, where I heard yesterday the Prime Minister basically talking about a 600 megawatt power plant here and which will be natural gas from your own natural gas resources, which will reduce your costs that you already have. But ultimately, those things are going to help advance the knowledge that you have here and the skill set that you have, and that diaspora that has left will be looking, saying, here, I've got this skill set that I can bring back to Guyana to help advance my home country as best I can, and I think that's a tremendous thing.